Okay, this is a reading for Sagittarius. Let's find out who you were in a previous life. It's the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle by Mandy Peterson. And it covers all kinds of themes, including trauma. Most cards have got an element of trauma on, so if you think you might be triggered by any themes to do with trauma, might be better to click off and watch, a love reading or what's my spirit animal or something else, okay? It's definitely not predictive. It's looking back at things that could have happened in one of your past lives, okay? So in tarot, we believe that everyone's of the ether, that, the whole universe is made up of energy, and everything is energy, money, love, people, biological matter, everything is just energy, okay? So obviously that can be reformulated infinite amounts of times. Like, it's fascinating, like the lady that designed the deck said that, sometimes you have assuasions towards people, places or things and you don't really know why, or you're really fanatical about a particular subject and you don't know why, or sometimes you feel to avoid certain kinds of people or places or things and you have no idea why. Or you have phobias and yet nothing in this life points to why that would be. Okay, so I think it's really cool to just try it and see what comes out. Okay, it's gone down really well with the other signs. So for Sagittarius then, Spirit, can you pull out a few cards? So on one side of the card is general themes, and then the other side of the card will have details, finer details about location, time period, things like this. Okay. So for Sagittarius then, Spirit, can you pull out some cards for what Sagittarius was or who they were in a previous life? Okay, so we have got a theme here that's possibly upsetting for some people, okay? So the general theme is abusive relationship. So you're someone that was in an abusive relationship. You could have rescued someone from an abusive relationship. You could have been the one that was abused. You could have been an enabler or the abuser. Okay, we've got issues of abandonment now. Often when that comes up, people will succumb to abusive relationships. Once the signs are there, they won't leave, they'll stay because they just feel that it's better to be with someone than to be alone. You identified as someone who was a devotee or a follower of something. We've got the high Middle Ages for a time frame. Your lesson was greed, so I'm getting to be more greedy, rather than to be less greedy for some reason. You were murdered. Oh my god. Okay, location Eastern Europe. You were traumatised by poverty. Your faith was an ethical religion. Yeah, you experienced abandonment in terms of love, you learnt that you were going to be abandoned. That's a very dramatic one. Have we got anything else? So you might be somebody that is, more wary of, say if there was going to be latent memories of that in the 5D, you might express that in your 3D life, in your human form, as like being mistrusting of others, or you know, someone who's an advocate of people who, an advocate for people who have escaped abuse, like a safe house, or you know, women's refuge, or somebody that receives 999 calls. You could be someone who's, you know, a counsellor, or who studies psychology, and why people do these things. The High Middle Ages, your lesson was greed. You were murdered. You're in an abusive relationship. Eastern Europe was the location. You lived in poverty. You followed an ethical religion. You were devoted to it, so that's like someone who refuses to become the abuser. You know, like a pacifist, like someone who is passive because you'd rather like take the abuse than hurt anyone. That's really sad, actually. It's quite sad. Anything else, Spirit, to go with that message? India, old age. You live to old age. You're a witness or a bystander to trauma. You had a secret faith. We've got LGBT, love. You're a father. Late Middle Ages. No, that says High Middle Ages on that one, so we've got a bit of a crossover. Your lesson was peace. Yeah, in certain locations and in certain time periods, it would not have been okay to be LGBT, which is lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transsexual. And sometimes people, you know, feel that they have that sexuality, but they don't. They believe that it's illegal to act upon it. So that would be a reason to potentially be abusive towards others. Could have been abused by a father. I mean, it's not nice to think that you were the abuser. I can't think that that was the case, because it says that you were murdered, so that points to that points to the other person being the one that killed you. They could have been abusive to multiple people in the household. Could have been a father that didn't approve of LGBT relationships. And that's why you were a witness to trauma, or a bystander of trauma. The lesson was peace. So you might be very, very focused on finding peace. You might be an LGBT supporter. Like, I go to gay pride even though I'm not gay, because I love the vibe. I think everyone deserves to love and be loved. And I don't understand why the way anyone else lives their life should bother you. That's what I believe. Interesting. a secret faith. Your lesson was peace. You might be someone that tries to pacify people and bring about recognition of, like, you know, one love, one people, one world, we're all equal, like this kind of vibe. An eye for an eye. You might be someone who worries about poverty, or you like to give to charity or raise money for charity. You might be someone who just, you know, your lesson is to, like, you know, to spend money or time, you know, and draw boundaries around yourself because of what you suffered in a past life. Interesting. Okay, so that was for you, Sagittarius. I hope you found that entertaining. You might be someone who really enjoys, you know, like Eastern Europe. You feel like a pull towards that, you don't know why. You could be someone who is connected to antiquities from the Middle Ages. You know, you find those like really interesting. You might be someone that goes from one relationship to the next because you're afraid of being abandoned, or you might shun relationships. You might not relate to any of that, to be honest. It would be a vague, you know, connection at best, if something had happened in a previous life. I mean, you learned lessons from it, so peace and greed, self-love, we'll take that as. Okay, alright, that was for you, Sagittarius. Please remember to give me a follow, subscribe. I'm posting a lot of videos at the moment, all different subjects. So have a scroll back and see what else there is for you. And if you're on TikTok, give me a repost. If you're on YouTube, do subscribe and press the notification bell so that you can get notified as soon as I post it, in case you don't miss anything.